In this video, we're going to be learning about reflections. So by the end of the video, you should be able to perform reflections on and off the coordinate plane and identify the reflectional symmetry in a plane figure. So reflections, what are they? This is your mirror image. They look exactly the same, but they're flipped. So your pre-image and image and reflection are congruent. It's another isometric transformation, just like your translations. And so then here are some rules for how to reflect. These are not the only lines you can reflect across. You can actually reflect across any line that you want. But these are the ones that have set rules on how to reflect. So first problem, I'm going to graph my pre-image, and then I'm going to reflect it across the line y equals x. So I've got 2, 0, 2, 2, 5, 2, and 5, 1. So here's my image, and I am reflecting it across this line. That's the line y equals x. So for the rule for y equals x, your x and y just switch spots. That's it. So 2, 0 now becomes 0, 2. So this is my new D. And then 5, 2 becomes 2, 5. So this is my new F. And then 5, 1 is 1, 5. My new G. And nothing happens with E because it is on my line. It is already flipped, so to speak. So there is my new shape. So now this time I am reflecting across the x-axis. So again, I'm going to graph my pre-image. And I'm reflecting it across the x-axis. So anytime you're reflecting across horizontal and vertical lines, the easiest thing to do is just to count. So I'm going to count and see how far is each point from my line, and then I'm going to count on the opposite side of my line. So starting with point U, I can see it is 1 unit away from my x-axis, the line I'm reflecting, above it. So my new U point is going to be 1 unit below. And now I'm just going to do that with each of the points. So V is 4 units above, so the new one is 4 units below. S is 4 above, so the new one is 4 below. T is 1 above, so it's 1 below. And here is my new shape. So you might be looking at this and think, well, that just looks just like a translation. Yes, it does look like a translation, but you got to look closer at the names of your points, because they're now flipped. They're all in a different order. If you look, U is on top and V is on bottom, versus in the original, your V is on top and U is on bottom. So that's the way you can tell the difference between a translation and a reflection. Okay, now I'm going to reflect across the line y equals negative x. So I've got to graph my points first. So there's my points. I have a triangle this time. And I'm reflecting across the line y equals negative x. So now my diagonal line looks like this. And this time it isn't just a straight flip. Now these flip and they change signs according to the rule. So starting with B, -1 becomes +1, +1. -4, -2 flips to 2, 4. And lastly, -1, -4 becomes 4, -1. So there's my new shape. Another way to look at this, and this would help you with any line, is I gotta flip my point along a line that is perpendicular to the line I'm reflecting across. So what does that mean? Well, I gotta reflect it. That means I'm reflecting it, or I gotta flip it along this line from A to A, because that line is perpendicular to the line I'm flipping across. So if I look at this, to go from my green line, my line of reflection, to A, I have to go down 3 and to the left 3. So now to reflect across it, I'm going to do the opposites. I'm going to go up 3 and to the right 3. And I can do that with every point. So let's see what that looks like. So now I have a line that's not a perfect diagonal one-to-one line, and I need a reflector across it. So this time I'm going to try to find lines that are that go along that perpendicular line. So point B, it's already here. It's already on my line of reflection, so it's going to stay right there. Point A, to go from my line, so I'm going to pick a point on my line, which is, I'm going to use point B because it just happens to be pretty. I'm going to go 1 to the left and 2 and 3 up. So now I need to do the opposites. I need to go 3 to the right and 1 up. So there's my new A. Because my left one was my negative movement. So now it completely flips. So it becomes a positive and an up movement, up and down movement. So that's up 1. And then my up was 3. So now it's going to go to the right 3. So now I'm going to do the same thing with C. It's to the left 3 and down 1. So I'm going to go down 3 and to the right 1. And so if I were to graph perpendicular lines with my line of reflection, I could see that A and A prime and C prime would end up on the same lines.